what better way to learn than from those who have done it, who are the trailblazers, who are the torchbearers. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Anup Pai, Mr. Ravi Halvipur, Mr. Vinod Punjabi, Mrs. Riya Punjabi, and Mr. Sachin Sahni. I would like to thank the audience as well, because an event like this can be successful only when there are two types of people. One who are imparting the knowledge, the other who are gaining from it. So a big round of applause for our wonderful audience. Thank you for being here. And I think I missed somebody. Anuj, I am so sorry, Anuj. I am extremely sorry. Ghar wale chhut jate hain. So these are the panelists for the first panel. And now I'm handing over to Neelakshi.
Thank you so much. So हमारे speakers को आपने देख तो लिया ही है. Let's get to know them a little better. And आज की हमारी theme क्योंकि co-founders के बारे में है. So we've tried to bring to you different kinds of relationships which these co-founders share. तो हमारे पास we have Anup ji and Ravi ji who are buddypreneurs. We have Riya ji and Vinod ji who are a couple and they have founded a venture together. They are a couple entrepreneurs. And we have Anuj ji. Sadly, Mr. Jay hasn't been able to join us, but they are the brothers who founded their venture. So to introduce them a little better, our buddypreneurs here, Mr. Anup Pai and Mr. Ravi Halvipur, co-founders of eSamuday, which focuses on digital community commerce and open networks for digital commerce. They have been good friends since their school days and share the same engineering college. Their friendship translated into a successful partnership in business where Mr. Ravi brings his expertise in business development and sales, while Mr. Anup contributes his knowledge of software engineering and digital networks. Their mutual trust and respect for each other's abilities have been instrumental in their building a culture of collaboration and innovation at eSamuday. Next, our couplepreneurs, Mr. Vinod Punjabi and Mr. Riya Punjabi. They are the founders of Ada Designer Chicken Studio. They make a dynamic husband-wife entrepreneurial team who share a deep passion for preserving and promoting the classical chicken curry craft. Vinod's expertise in the craft, combined with Riya's digital prowess, has helped them establish a successful business that empowers artisans and promotes their craft globally. As a couple, they have created a cohesive and collaborative work environment at Ada Chicken Designer Studio that has led to their success as entrepreneurs. Ada is a leading brand of authentic Lucknowi chicken curry, which is omni-channel and has delivered the craft to 100+ countries across the globe. Next are brotherpreneurs, Mr. Anuj Agarwal and Mr. Jay Agarwal. Mr. Jay hasn't been able to join us, but they are the co-founders of CP Milk and Food Products Private Limited, also known as Gyan Milk Products. They share a strong bond that transcends their personal and professional lives. They leverage their complementary skills and perspectives to drive the company's growth and success. Jay's expertise in business management and operations complements the background of Anuj in dairy farming and supply chain management. The company now has 1100+ employees and supports 230,000 farmers across 3100 villages in central and eastern UP. Can we have a round of applause for our speakers? And the founder of 3 successful ventures, which he has co-founded with his wife, Ms. Simran Sahani. She is also a charter member of TiE Lucknow. Their brands Keros, Glamazone and Health Zone are making waves in the market. Health Zone and Glamazone, headquartered in Lucknow, are fast-growing chains of wellness and beauty salons. Keros is India's first brand of super snacks and superfoods, is a diabetic-friendly and healthy snack startup that has won numerous awards. Their products are sold across India through leading e-commerce portals, e-vending machines, and stores in North India. Heroes is also a bestseller on Amazon. As a TEDx speaker, Mr. Sachin regularly writes and speaks on entrepreneurship, fitness and wellness topics in various forums, conferences, print and electronic media. Mr. Sachin's expertise is highly sought after and he is an advisory board member of various educational institutions. He has mentored and delivered speeches at various prestigious institutes including IIT Kanpur, IIT BHU, IIM Lucknow, SRCC Delhi, SPJN Mumbai, IIT Lucknow and Amity University. Can we have a round of applause for him? So we now officially begin with our first session, which is about balancing relationships and business insights from successful co-founders. So over to you, Mr. Sachin, and we hope to have a really nice session with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm really excited to meet you guys, to hear from you. Are you guys excited?
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have good fun here. We have, एक जोड़ी है जय वीरू की हमारे साथ बचपन के दोस्त कॉलेज के दोस्त मिलके फिर कैसे बनाते हैं कंपनी एक हस्बैंड वाइफ की जोड़ी और भाई भाई की जोड़ी कोई बात नहीं इज रिप्रेजेंटिंग बोथ ऑफ देम तो पहले शुरू करते हैं साहब ये जो युगल जोड़ा है उससे ये फैमिली बिजनेस तो विनोद भाई आपका कुछ और था ये चिकन कारी कब शुरू हुआ और हाँ रियल अच्छा साथ में पीछे
Frame देख to the flow of the light.
ये
First of all, it's great to see a full house on a Sunday afternoon. And thanks to TiE, which is all about fostering entrepreneurship. And there's something to learn from each one of you, and each one of us rather. Everyone has his own experience and sorted different challenges in the journey. But my journey began with I stepped into the shoes of my ancestral business, which was of textiles, apparel and sarees. But actually entrepreneur का कीड़ा होता है ना, काम तो हो गया and grow भी किया money full to say. But वो craving कि अपना कुछ नहीं कर रहा है, it's just following something which was already existing और उसी को pursue कर रहे हैं. It was very mechanical and transactional. आसपास देखते रहे. Fortunately, I didn't have to look very far because उसी से related काम एक ये लखनऊ चिकन कारी का जो हमारे सिटी में हो ही रहा था, which was not being done the way it deserved. तो मुझे लगा कि this would be an area जिसमें right from creation scratch से आपका कोई input आ सकता है, and this will help me to move from curation to creation, and also satisfy that I created something on my own. This is how the journey started. Initially, it was gradual because a successful model you already have run कर रहे हो. It is really difficult to shift your entire energy into something new and which you're not very sure will work in the numbers as well. So initially वो शुरू किया, and very soon इस space का D2C journey पूरी मैप कराई. We had IIM students doing internship with us at that time. तो पहले हमने पूरी journey मैप कराई इस craft की कि how does a product get manufactured and how it reaches the end consumer. उस journey को मैप करा के उसके numbers देख के और 2 साल की स्टडी के बाद फिर नेल्सन से भी इस डेटा को और रेटिफाई कराया. And then I decided to go full throttle. This is an area which I was confident after seeing the numbers and everything that yes, this will work. That was a time when my wife or my kids also grew up, and my wife was creative in design and other things. And also she had proficiency in the digital space because of her academic background, and incidentally she did it from NIT. She completed
Just one transaction. विनोद भाई की आवाज पीछे तक आ रही है ना? Just wanted to be sure. All right. Thanks.
So after we had joined it, there was a clear space of working. She helped me in, she helped the business in fact, and parallelly from the transactional side was taken care by me, and building a brand, right from the communication, designing the logo, doing the communication.
I have a question right here if you allow. So, Ria entered the business when you decided that chicken curry is one of the things which you want to do on your own, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And was there any, inherent qualities of hers which you thought will come in handy? Was this the reason, or was it that, was it something else?
So it works both ways. In fact, whenever you are expanding, the first help comes from the family. So who better than your own partner?
तो
So in that case,
कोई ऐसा घर से तो ये नहीं आया था कि नहीं घर की बहू जो होती है वो कैसे
never thought of initially, but वो जैसे आया, and her fortunately जो expertise was in this field, and जैसे काम करना शुरू किया, तो she first created the logo, the community.
let me ask अब हो गया अब इनसे पूछेंगे तो Ria can tell me the mic is with her now you had to make your way in, or were you invited very with full vigor and energy
Sort of both.
थोड़ा बाहर अब निकल गया ये कोई बात क्या था what was not going your way
No, it was not that it was not working my way. Basically that he was very good with his work. My thought was that when I was at the store, I used to see a lot of people coming and they were asking us about अरे chicken curry तो बहुत महंगा है. Why is it so? And हमको बॉम्बे में भी मिलता है, इतने में मिलता है. So I started observing that people don't have a good knowledge about chicken curry craft. They thought it's machine, it's hakoba. They asked a lot of questions.
This was when you were already there in the business, or you before you started? So my question is,
When he started,
when this initiated, this chicken curry initiated, you were there from the day one because of
yes, I was.
your decision, or it was his decision, or it was
It was both.
both?
Because he also saw that I am like little free with the children at school. So he said, "Hey, why don't you come over to the store?" When I started at the store, I realized these things, and there were a lot of misses, like too many things were missing out. So I somehow was very keen on, making this awareness with the, like I wanted this to be more and more aware, but people to be more and more aware about the chicken craft. So I created a Facebook page in 2008. That time was like nobody was well aware about the pages also. So that was the first thing that I stepped into.
That's way back, almost a generation now.
Right. So I got an award from the Facebook the team also for this creating this page, and the awareness was like
Thinking of going digital and social in 2008 was some initiation. Wonderful. तो ये तो हो गए कैमराडरी. तो झगड़ा तो नहीं हुआ शुरू में?
we were mature people. We didn't have to fight for it.
सच्ची होना ऐसा तो नहीं होना.
We didn't have to fight with it.
नहीं मतलब कुछ डिसएग्रीमेंट भी नहीं हुए. राम सीता की जोड़ी.
Disagreements होते थे, but those were solved with logical discussion.
Like tell us about those times when you disagreed and then you actually came to a conclusion together.
So initially the
कुछ बताओ ना वो जो जिसमें
तो बता रहा हूँ सरकार ट्रांजैक्शनल से ब्रांड बिल्डिंग की तरफ आए, क्योंकि शुरू से जो एंसेस्ट्रल बिजनेस था वो ट्रांजैक्शन था, और यूजुअली लोकल बिजनेसेस होते हैं ट्रांजैक्शन है, कि सेम खरीदता प्रॉफिट आया. बिल्डिंग अ ब्रांड इज अ डिफरेंट बॉल गेम ऑलटुगेदर. सो जो आता नहीं था वो सीख के कर रहे थे. जब आप सीखते हो तो कोई भी चीज पढ़ते हो, हर जगह को किताब वही होती है, टेक्स्ट वही होता है, इंटरप्रेट हर जगह अपने तरह से करता है। तो उस इंटरप्रिटेशन में हम लोगों का कभी कभी डिफरेंसेस होते थे लॉजिकली, एक दूसरे को कन्विंस करके अपना पॉइंट ऑफ
Cite an instance for us. There are a lot of husband-wife couples here who want to get inspired from you.
So पहला ये हो रहा था कि जो ब्रांड बिल्डिंग के लिए व्हाट शुड बी द काइंड ऑफ रेवेन्यू which we should spend on creating a brand vis-a-vis जो आपके पास रेवेन्यू आ रहा है, कैश फ्लो तो उतना ही है। तो बूटस्ट्रैप है, जो आपके पास 1 लाख की बिक्री आई और उसमें आफ्टर ऑल पे आउट्स आपके पास 20,000 का क्वेश्चन आ रहा है या 15,000 का क्वेश्चन आ रहा है, तो वो पैसा किस तरह खर्च होना चाहिए, कितना ब्रांड बिल्डिंग पे खर्च होना चाहिए,
ये वो कश्मीर वाले ट्रिप पे होना चाहिए।
जी सर,
तो वहाँ पर डिफरेंसेस आते थे।
बिल्कुल आते थे। और इट इज नॉट जस्ट कि पैसा कैसे स्पेंड होना चाहिए, किस चीज पे स्पेंड होना चाहिए, विच इज जैसे ये डिसाइड हो गया कि इतना हमारे पास है कुछ, ये हम स्पेंड कर सकते हैं ब्रांड बिल्डिंग के लिए।
So you
और डिजिटल पे करें या फिजिकल पे
So I
करें, कैसे
come to another question to you guys कि आप लोगों ने मतलब अपने जो होते हैं ना डोमेन्स वो कैसे डिसाइड किए। बट बिफोर आई कम टू दैट क्वेश्चन, लेट्स गो टू जय एंड वीरू, अनूप एंड रवि। So let's see if the mic is working.
Hello.
Yeah. So you can hear till the end? All right. So Anup, you were buddies from the college.
From school actually.
School, right? Yeah. Told me that. तो यार ये जय वीरू ने मतलब बसंती के पीछे पढ़ने के से पहले ये कब डिसाइड किया कि काम भी साथ करेंगे?
बुढ़ापे में स्कूल में बसंती एंड अदर थिंग्स आर मोर इम्पोर्टेंट, स्कूल कॉलेज।
So we will ask about that project also.
So काम तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं होता था। ये पॉलिटिशियन था कॉलेज में, मैं उसका अमित शाह। So he won an election in college and all that.
And that was in Bangalore?
No, in Surat.
Surat. Oh, at NIT. Oh, yes.
So after college, मैं गया अपने साइड, ये गया अपने साइड, he went to the US to do an MBA and everything. I got into banking software. I was doing my thing. And then around 2017, I was running a project again back in our college, which is, I have this vision of changing the digital nature of the world. आज के दिन में डिजिटल 3 कंपनीज चलाते हैं, 4 कंपनीज, फैंग कंपनीज, सारा वर्ल्ड का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेटा उनके पास है, हम लोग उनको सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, उनके $1 बिलियन वैल्यूएशंस को हम सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। सो इंडिया में डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन होना चाहिए, अपना खुद का डेटा सॉवरेन टूल्स होना चाहिए। लेट्स स्टार्ट स्मॉल, राइट? एक छोटा सा कॉलेज है, उसमें 5,000 लोग हैं, वो लोग ऑमलेट खाते हैं, मोबाइल फोन खरीदते हैं, शर्ट खरीदते हैं, उनका खुद का अगर कॉमर्स इकोसिस्टम खुद बनाएंगे, वो खुद चलाएंगे तो बढ़िया होगा। सो वी काइंड ऑफ एनकरेज्ड अ स्टूडेंट ग्रुप, द प्रोजेक्ट वाज कॉल्ड चेंज पे, एंड दिस इज मोर alumni affairs. हम लोग अभी we had a reunion, so we had found a team, we funded them to create this ecosystem in campus. अपने कॉलेज के बच्चों को हम मेंटरिंग कर रहे हैं। Still no business involved, right? It was mostly a fun project to do together. And through this journey, we realized कि COVID आया, so this is now applicable across the world, across every place. This kind
Just
of
one quick interjection. When did you come together for this project? 2017?
27.
All right. So no revenues at that time. So how you funding yourself, your families?
Oh, yeah, we had other things. So this is still me investing some money and us investing some time with students in campus to understand how models will work.
So it's on the annual, like this project is on the annual now, I guess.
That was 2017, 2018. 2020, COVID के बाद we became co-founders.
One question again. Why did you think that, Jay ही चलेगा, कोई और नहीं चलेगा? ठाकुर से के साथ ही टाइप कर सकते हैं।
So first and foremost, before co-founder, before anything, each individual he'll have his own story, right? अपना खुद का जो अंतर प्रेरणा है, I mean, and one of the TiE, Bangalore president, current Bangalore president, his name is Madan Padaki.
Yeah, good friend of
He
mine.
believes that the word entrepreneur, which comes from Latin supposedly, the root is called antar prerna. Right? Entrepreneur is actually antar prerna.
Oh, wow.
So वो अंतर प्रेरणा संस्कृत से entrepreneur बन गया वहाँ पे, but it is actually अंतर प्रेरणा. Right? So प्रत्येक सब लोगों का अपना अंतर प्रेरणा क्या है, अगर वो समझ जाते हैं तो वो एंटरप्रेन्योर बन जाते हैं, राइट? फिर उसके बाद जो जोड़ियां बनती है वो मल्टी लेवल पे बनती है. वन को फाउंडर could be Ravi. We are actually a team of 5 co-founders. And Ravi and I have an equation, but other equations also exist. It is actually a network of co-founders that can exist. Each entrepreneur-driven entrepreneur can have many such relationships, co-founder relationships, because each is helping each other in some way or the other, right? I mean, just like Mr. and Mrs. Punjabi are helping each other on the digital side and the product side. Similarly, there can be multiple such networks of co-founders that can come. But the most important thing is seeing the same things together, right? I mean, ये जो common journey था, right? I mean, उसके basis पे हमने ये समुदाय शुरू किया, right? It was a journey that we had together, which was school, college. We've seen how India has, after globalization, after how life has changed, how money has flowed. We've been part of the same journey. I mean, cable TV से smartphone तक, right? So it's that aha moment that when it comes together, and that's when co-founder equations come. But the most important thing is separate person, right? I mean, each one has got their own challenges and visions and everything to deal with. As long as you're mindful of it and at the same time clear about your own entrepreneur, I think we'll be.
So Ravi, when Anup approached you and invited you, what was your thought? You said yes right away, or was it some deliberation which went into it?
Well, so like you said, I mean, I just want to make this clear. Now that Sachin has taken the liberty of calling me Jay and him being Anup is very happy because now he knows he's going to get Nima Malini. I don't know what's going to happen to me.
No, but वो पुरानी story हो गई.
In this case, Hema Malini being a euphemism for $1 million valuation, right? So that's our goal. But yeah, so Anup, give you a quick snapshot of our college life. We studied in school. We were classmates since 8th. We did our 11th and 12th together. Then in our first year of professional college, we were roommates. And then he went into mechanical. I was in metallurgy, so obviously because of difference in disciplines, ways kind of parted. And then on graduation, I went into a different discipline job, different companies. He went into software. But we were in touch with each other. And both of us had this thing of wanting to be entrepreneurs. I mean, every batch, I'm sure all of you, in your college during your days, there are a few people who sort of make note of, and who will do something in life, right? And I knew Anup was one of those who had that capability and that motivation to push himself further than the rest of the others. I was at that point in time, after finishing my professional stint, was on my own entrepreneurial journey and trying to make my own name. So the names in our batch floating around that this guy is doing something, this guy has got funding. This was early days after we graduated, right? So Anup's name was regularly coming up, and we of course had that friendship. So when Anup came to me with this project, I had that backdrop of a long association to sort of make an instant decision. So I didn't really evaluate the business, I didn't evaluate the possibility of it becoming big. Because in life they say, right, what matters is not the destination, not even the journey, it's the company, right? The company you go along the journey. And so I said, we might have disagreements, we might fight, we might not agree, see eye to eye on various things, but then at the end of the day, we can always sit down, have a beer and laugh about good times, right? And that happens. So that's an important thing, I think.
So one lesson is that, sometimes, मतलब जोड़ी ऐसे भी बन जाती है entrepreneurs की, co-founders की, कि यार तेरी मेरी पट्टी कुछ ना कुछ तो निकाल ही लेंगे, है ना? We will find something, and I'll bring something to the table, you will bring something to the table, and we'll together, make our way to $1 billion company, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you did not think about it, what you were going to bring to the table?
No, I mean, let me put it this way. I said, okay, Anup has enough intelligence that if he is sitting with me and one of the guys there, obviously he sees something.
So बता मुझे क्या करना है?
So, when we were just thinking about starting up, right? I said, entrepreneur के लिए दो goals हैं, rich and famous है, rich and anonymous है. So you can be rich and famous or you can be rich and anonymous, right?
Rich तो नहीं है.
Huh?
Rich तो नहीं है.
So, co-founding couple, right? Rich and famous, both cannot be rich and famous, right? One has to be rich and famous, one has to be rich and anonymous, right?
ये मतलब given है.
No, I wanted to be anonymous, he wanted to be famous. He wants to be famous, so it like kind of clicked.
You've given me food for thought. So interesting. So then once you had decided, then you came to a conclusion. Okay, this is what I'm going to bring to the table, right? Am I getting it right?
Yes.
Or did he pick something out of
No,
your
see,
brain?
I had that confidence in myself because I had gone through my own entrepreneurial journey, right? I knew if I'd seen the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. I had gone through the grind. And it's a difficult journey. I mean, I'm sure there are multiple entrepreneurs here and I'm sure there are good days, bad days, and there are really dark days, right? And everyone goes through it. So I had gone through that. So I knew that within myself I had this confidence in my abilities that no matter how big the challenge, it can always be treated as a learning experience and then you find a way to overcome. And if you have someone who is ready to look after your back, someone who has your back, then you have the confidence that, chalo, together something can be resolved.
Finally, he has to be successful, I have to be successful in my own domain, in our own domains. And together we have to, agree on certain things and work together, build a network together, right? I mean, there needs to be some separate work and some together work, right? And we need to have that coordination. And as long as it doesn't take too much discussion, right? I mean, the one thing that you can't really do well in a startup is बहुत discussion to take a simple decision, right? I mean, you want to be able to take decisions quickly. And 19-20, forget that, right? I mean, all that nahi chahiye. I mean, take a mota decision, move, go, get it done. वो सिर्फ तब होगा जब there's full trust, right? I mean, कि we are heading in the right direction, छोड़ो ये सब.
Trust is the first, common denominator, right?
Trust which comes from, see, the trust needs a basis, right? So that trust comes from one, knowing each other. But the trust also comes from the confidence in each other's abilities, right? So, like in the army, right? Every soldier knows that the other soldier is looking out for them. So, in similar ways, it's here also, that, he's looking out for my success, I'm looking out for his success. That's very important.
The less we talk
and more, yeah, exactly. So sometimes, when there's a point where I may not get it of what, like Anup says, let's do this. And then I realize, even without him having to explain, that he has put a lot of thought into it, so let's just go with it. Right? So you don't question the judgment every time and try to break down, because confidence is a very important ingredient for success. Confidence is a very, now if I question, I bring the doubts saying that ye nahi hoga to, ye aisa hoga to, those kind of things, then obviously everyone will get affected. But if I say, you thought it, let's make it happen.
But otherwise you guys have your own way. I remember, मैंने mail डाला रवि को तो, sorry अनूप को, मैंने बोला कि उसे भी पूछ लेना. तो I remember Manish had approached you. भाई मेरी तो मैंने बता दी है, बाकी का रवि से पूछो यार. So I know, I can sense what you're meaning.
Yeah.
So I'll come to more questions with you. उसके पहले जरा अपन अपने लखनऊ के जय और वीरू के पास जाते हैं। तो
हमने बहुत कोशिश करी मसाला निकालने की इन लोगों से। विनोद भाई, रवि, ऑल दीज पीपल दे वर शाय बिकॉज वो अपने पार्टनर के साथ थे। आप चिंता मत करो, मैं पूरा मसाला दूंगा, जय है नहीं।
पटाखे बजने वाले हैं।
जितने कंट्रोवर्शियल क्वेश्चंस पूछने मुझे वो डिफेंड कर नहीं सकता इस टाइम।
तो यार ये बताओ, मतलब बड़ा भाई तो वो है, उसी ने बोला होगा आजा भाई। ट्रेडिशनल बिजनेस तो कुछ और था आपका, कैसे शुरू कैसे हुई ज्ञान की स्टोरी?
ज्ञान की स्टोरी शुरू होने में जय का कोई रोल नहीं था उसमें। माय स्टोरी स्टार्टेड बिकॉज आई वाज स्टडीइंग इन दिल्ली एंड आई फेल इन लव विद अ गर्ल। और टिपिकल बनिया
स्टोरी बसंती से भी शुरू होती है।
ये सारी स्टोरी बसंती की है। सो आई फेल इन लव विद दिस गर्ल एंड टिपिकल बनिया फैमिलीज में अगर आपको अपने आप को एस्टैब्लिश करना होता है तो यू हैव टू प्रूव योरसेल्फ। मैंने कहा था ना मैं मसाला दूंगा। So she was a Punjabi girl, Bania family. I came from a Bania background. She was from Delhi. I was from a small village. So I thought कि भाई कुछ जाके there's a place called Kayamganj that is roughly 200 kilometers from here. सुना नहीं है किसी ने नाम आज तक? वैसे ही है। So it's a small place and our family business was tobacco. So then I went back, I started, and the business wasn't doing too well. I was educated, I mean, fancy places, and then Jay had to go back because he got married. So that was the time when we started thinking कि चलो कुछ साथ में करते हैं, and let's try to revive this business, tobacco business. So we worked together for 3 years. We were able to do that. I mean, after multiple failures, and during that time that we realized that we can do bigger things. And this was an opportunity, Gyan Dairy. This was a unit that had closed down in 2003. And इन लोगों ने हमें बेच दिया था as debt settlement. It was a closed unit.
Debt settlement.
Yeah. So we were sent. Family ने कहा कि तुम दोनों एक काम करो, अपना बोरे बिस्तर लेके चले जाओ लखनऊ और देखो ये यूनिट चल सकता है कि नहीं चल सकता है. So that's how our journey started. But हाँ, शुरुआत बसंती से हुई थी.
बसंती से. So guys, if you think that it's always the two co-founders who will, pull off a company, no. Have a basanti in between before. At times it might work. So then, were the roles sorted from the day one, or was it that लड़ झगड़ के समझ में आया भाई तू ये करेगा मैं ये करूँगा, या who decided, who was the boss?
So I think when you start working together, तो एकदम शुरू में तो ऐसा नहीं होता कि हमारे मतलब at least this is what happened with us. कि शुरू से रोल्स एकदम क्लियर हैं कि ये देखेगा, मैं वो देखूंगा. बट जय की शादी हुई थी, सो ही सेड मार्केटिंग में देख नहीं सकता, सेल्स में देख नहीं सकता, बिकॉज इट हैज टू, यू हैव टू ट्रैवल. यू आर अनमैरिड तो तुम जाओ फील्ड में काम करने निकल जाए. सो दैट्स हाउ द फर्स्ट डिवीजन ऑफ रोल हैपेंड. आई वाज मोर ग्रेविटेटेड टुवर्ड्स नंबर्स. मेरा इंटरेस्ट था, केम फ्रॉम इकोनॉमिक्स बैकग्राउंड. जय केम फ्रॉम एन इंजीनियरिंग बैकग्राउंड. ही लाइक्स गुड थिंग्स इन लाइफ, खाना पीना पसंद है. So he automatically moved towards quality, production, and we kind of realized that what I am good at and what he's good at.
But it was on the go that you learned.
Yes.
So sometimes it's like chemistry, hai? Let's on the go decide what is good for me and what is good for you. Then.
Absolutely. And as Anup and Ravi said, over a period of time, you start developing confidence in each other's capability, and you start trusting each other more and more on that particular thing. लेकिन इसके बाद भी कई बार ऐसा होता है, कुछ ग्रे एरियाज होते हैं जहाँ लड़ाई हो जाती है. आज ही जैसे था कि हम दोनों आ रहे थे. I mean, we were invited here to share a story as successful couple as bro founders. And उसके पहले हम इतना लड़के आ रहे थे घर पे, मुझे लग रहा था ये स्टोरी जो ना जाना ही नहीं चाहिए मुझे आज. So, this is really not working out. So we have massive fights. बहुत लड़ते हैं हम लोग. But somehow we have learned how to navigate. So one interesting area. हम लोग ने जब डेयरी का बिजनेस शुरू किया तब वी वर ओनली डूइंग बल्क सेल्स, घी, पाउडर, कंज्यूमर, द लार्ज पैक्स, which were not really a brand building activity. When we decided to build a brand, launch fresh milk, technically I was looking after sales for a very long time. But I realized कि मेरा इतना strong focus है finance की तरफ that I really get impacted with different situations. So that was the time when I requested Jay कि this is something that I think you should take up. That again was a part of self-realization. So sometimes while working together, you also have to understand कि आपकी क्या capability, आप क्या कर सकते हो, क्या नहीं कर सकते हो. It's not an easy choice, but yeah, somehow I think over a period of time, different roles, different places, we have realized how to find that right balance.
So अभी sorted है एकदम, ये अभी भी है कि ना कल उठ के गए, आज मैं ये देखूंगा भाई आज मैं ये देखूंगा बसंती तू देख.
So I think in terms of roles, this does not happen very frequently. But in terms of our decisions, in terms of our discussions, ये लड़ाई जरूर हो जाती है कि भाई क्या करना है आगे. As विनोद भाई was saying कि पैसा ब्रांड बिल्डिंग पे खर्च होना चाहिए, पैसा ट्रेड मार्केटिंग पे खर्च होना चाहिए, कि पैसा नए फैक्ट्री लगाने पे खर्च होना चाहिए, किस चीज़ पे होना चाहिए, हमें पैसा कमाना कितना है, whether we should give more schemes. All these are decisions that we fight every day.
Oh, wow.
But yes.
I'll come to how do you reach reconciliation and then you have a joint decision. I'll come to that. But उससे पहले coming to the युगल जोड़ी of the day. भाई बच्चों के नहीं है बात. अब मुझे ये बताओ एक बड़ा वाला झगड़ा जब हुआ था और वो क्या था और सॉर्ट कैसे हुआ, डिसीजन में फिर फाइनली डिसाइड कैसे हुआ, हु प्रिवेल्ड, हाउ डिड इट हैपन, बी ऑनेस्ट. सब जानते हैं लखनऊ वाले, बच के नहीं जाओगे.
बड़ा वाला झगड़ा बिजनेस के प्रोसेस में कभी ना
होगा, ऐसा तो हो नहीं सकता. सीताराम की जोड़ी तो है.
यहाँ पे इन बिजनेस इफ यू सी जहाँ डिफरेंस होता भी है, तो जैसे मैंने आपको कहा ना कि
एक बड़ा इंसिडेंस, एक बड़ा वाला, चल छोटा सा.
बात तो सही कह रहे
तो छोटा वाला
हैं. जानता है पड़ोसी की है, वहाँ नगर ही जाना है.
आवाज दूर तक आती है क्या? नहीं आती है फिर तो चलो.
झगड़ा एज सच
नहीं मेरा
डिफरेंस इन ओपिनियन, डिसएग्रीमेंट भी कहेंगे, तो डिसएग्रीमेंट डिड नॉट लास्ट सो लॉन्ग, बिकॉज़ ऐसे डिसएग्रीमेंट तो होता है. एवरी सी व्हेनेवर यू आर वर्किंग, एज आई सेड कि एक ही कंटेंट को दो जने पढ़ेंगे, इंटरप्रेट अपने तरह से करेंगे, तो डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियन तो होगा. तो डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियन होता भी है. But over a
So I just want you to cite an example, an instance where there were two different opinions both of you had. You did have disagreements and deliberations, and then you came to an agreement. Let's cite that example.
So as I said, पहला distribution of fruit होता है. When you work, कई एंटरप्रेन्योर की ड्रीम क्या होती है, आप काम करें और सक्सेस आए. जब सक्सेस आती है तो सक्सेस नंबर से दिखती है. नंबर से दिखती है तो इट गिव्स यू अ किक एंड गिव्स यू मोर एनकरेजमेंट कि आप जो कर रहे हैं दैट इज राइट, एंड यू जस्ट पुश द स्ट्रीम विद मोर हार्ड वर्क एंड विद मोर पैशन टू अचीव द नेक्स्ट लेवल. नाउ फॉर दैट जर्नी, जो नेक्स्ट लेवल वाली जर्नी है, उस पे ओपिनियन के डिफरेंसेस होते हैं. दैट हाउ डू वी कवर दैट, will it happen the same way which we have covered in past, or will there be a difference in the approach to take the business to the next level. इसमें डिसएग्रीमेंट्स होते हैं. जैसे हम लोग एयरपोर्ट पे स्टोर खोल रहे थे, तो जब एयरपोर्ट पे स्टोर खोल रहे थे, इनिशियली हम लोग ने एयरपोर्ट पे साइनेजेस थे हमारे, और वी आर स्पेंडिंग मनी फॉर ब्रांड अवेयरनेस. मेरा थॉट प्रोसेस था कि उसको साथ में हमको लीवरेज करके, अगर क्योंकि है तो स्पेंड आप कर रहे हो, देयर हैज टू बी अ क्लियर ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द स्पेंड, वेदर इट इज टू जनरेट बिजनेस और टू क्रिएट अ ब्रांड और व्हाटएवर. विद दैट विजन उसमें डिसएग्रीमेंट था. उस डिसएग्रीमेंट पे नंबर्स को सामने रख के और एक दूसरे को कन्विंस किया, एंड वी टुक अ
रियल हु प्रिवेल्ड. ये
मैम प्रिवेल्ड.
बताने तो दो ना.
She the decision which she wanted to take.
अरे मतलब दे तो माइक भाई. मतलब
So I was not very convinced of going ahead with the store on the airport, but he was. So initial like कोई नया step लेते हैं तो लगता है ना कि अरे गलत न चला जाए, maybe this goes wrong. But then he did his lot of convincing part. He convinced me that he said, okay, let us give it a try. So thankfully I went ahead and we gave
Then
it
you
a
allowed
try.
him to go in. So you prevailed.
So that was the first experience from.
So which means you prevailed. So who prevails more? Who more often? आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ, रिया आपसे. Who prevails more often?
I think
You prevail, Moral. Now that's women empowerment. Thank you. We all believe in UP in women empowerment. So last वो कोई ऐसा इंस्टेंस बताओ जहाँ आप प्रिवेल नहीं कर पाए अनफॉर्चुनेटली, एक इंस्टेंस. अरे उनको
ऐसा इंस्टेंस होगा भी तो एक
Yeah, I don't remember as I said.
अच्छा यार बड़ा मुश्किल हो रहा है इधर तो यार, बड़ा नहीं ये मतलब पूरा तय करके आए हैं.
नहीं, सच में इतना जीत जाती है.
हाँ
एक दो हार याद नहीं रहती.
देखो ये घर से भी निकल के आ रही है बात, और इनको भी पता है महानगर में दूर तक आवाजें आती हैं. चलो आई विल नॉट इंसिस्ट एनी मोर बिकॉज मुझे लग रहा है तैयारी बहुत तगड़ी है. सो कमिंग टू यू जय एंड वीरू, tell us about an instance where there were huge agreements and you then sat down together and found a common ground.
See, huge agreement. So अपना एक business ऐसा है कि अभी सिर्फ डिजाइन लेवल पे चल रहा है. ONDC, समुदाय and all that is still more a conceptual level, right? So on the ground, disagreements, limited है because the execution level. But on the large, big pieces, right? For example, we started in 2020, and we are the pioneers of democratization of digital. And then in 2020,
Just quickly, एक बार ना, tell everybody for the benefit of the audience about the work you're doing actually, ONDC and what you're doing.
so before ONDC, let's talk about e-Samudai. The concept of e-Samudai is that everybody should be able to create their own digital business without giving their sovereignty to some tech company from Bangalore or Gurgaon, right? I mean, if you want to be able to participate in internet commerce, you should be able to do it on your terms, working with your collaborators, and not lose profit or margin to some company which is in Seattle, Bangalore, Shanghai, or wherever, because the real value is not in technology, it is in the work you're doing, right? So that is the basic philosophy of e-Samudai, democratization of digital. So to do that, we started in 2020 during COVID by creating hyper-local marketplaces, technology, so that anybody can create their local Swiggies. हमको कमीशन देने की जरूरत नहीं है, आप टेक्नोलॉजी यूज करो, फ्री में करो. We take 200 rupees per store per month, right? Rent. I mean, it's
Subscription model.
It's a simple business we had started. And then Government of India also got onto the democratization bandwagon. Late 2021, early 2022, the Government of India launched Open Network for Digital Commerce, which is a company in Delhi, Section 8 company. See, I mean, मैं opportunist हूँ. I mean, so I bet the entire company on ONDC. Right? सब बंद करो, जो भी कर रहे हैं सब बंद करो, ONDC पे ही करेंगे. Right? I mean, obviously, that was a big decision to take. Right? I mean, because I was like, मेरा सीन ये है कि गवर्नमेंट कर रहा है तो साथ में करेंगे तो बहुत पावर मिलेगा. साइड में क्यों करना, साथ में करता है गवर्नमेंट के साथ. Right? I mean, but Ravi believe that we should only take it as a tactic, not like bet the whole company on ONDC, right?
This was also one of the disagreements.
This was this is like a strategic strategy. Well,
Direction,
finally he said, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so the thing was, we had been working on this whole concept of open networks, democratizing digital, and we had evolved our own model, right, of how to bring this to the people, of how to enable entrepreneurs to create their own platforms in their own towns and cities, so that there is no need of depending on these centralized platforms. Now, centralized platforms are not entirely bad, they have served some purpose, but it's not the perfect model, right? It's a broken model. They keep data from these, they hide data from the suppliers and the customers, they overcharge. Your movements from one platform to another are restricted. So there's a lot of conditions they impose, and hence we said we need to, laid out a plan of how we can democratize these digital tools, which will then enable entrepreneurs to empower local communities, what we mentioned earlier, right? So When ONDC came, his thought process was, this is a big boost for us, because now the government of India is saying exactly what we've been saying for 1.5 years, right? So we should go all out and work on this entire thing. The whole company should say, ONDC is us, we are ONDC. So my thought process was, instead of betting the whole company, because it's still new and then we would need to change the way we've been progressing, it could become one pillar, right? And we could sort of continue our model, business model, and also adopt ONDC. So essentially make 2 or 4 was what we did. So I think we reached some kind of
How did you do it? How did you reach? Who's on the driver's seat? When,
No, so I'm definitely on the driver's seat here,
Alright.
because see, the thing is, this is a technology company, and this whole thesis has come from my background in banking, technology, and information science, and all that, right? So finally, I think we also agreed that it's a big risk, right? If ONDC was not successful, I mean, it is successful, thankfully. बच गया, नहीं तो बहुत
Yeah, I'm sure. We've gotten, our company heroes, we have gotten onto ONDC, and thanks to you guys, in fact,
So-
your education.
So, look, I mean, I think these kind of discussions will keep happening. At some point in time, like Ravi said earlier, the confidence is कि बस इसको पता होगा कि वो क्या कर रहा है, right? I mean, छोड़ दो उसको. I mean, the debate happens and then
Somebody has to be on the driver's seat, right? So, I mean, this is sometimes it becomes a problem also when there are 2 drivers of the same vehicle, right?
It doesn't work, and I'll say that from my own experience. There has to be one person who's driving the vision, who's clearly, saying that this is the goal, because they've seen it, there's a mental map to where we want to go. Now, you can't have 2 maps because it will only lead you somewhere where you don't want to go, right? But there are certain skills, and what Anuj also said, you realize what are the skills which each one brings. So, Anu, because of his background, because of the time he spent in evolving the thesis around digital tools and how they need to be used, had this vision. And I had certain skills on execution, on implementation, building relationships, partnerships with people. Like he said, I was in politics in school, in college as well. So, talking to people, sort of forming a bond with them. And also that works, right? Finally, essentially, it's all about making connections. You make a connect, and then you build on that connect, and that becomes a relationship that either then becomes a potential business or a revenue stream or just an information source, as you want. So there are certain skill sets, and each one of them has to.
So there are not many fireworks when you reach a decision?
No, I can remember 2 incidents where we sort of disagreed, but then we decided to mutually say, yes, this is what we do. That was when one of our first investors was coming with a large check. And he was really driving down us on the valuation. So obviously, which meant that for the money he was giving, we had to give up a bigger portion of our company, which I didn't want to do, right? So I said, we have said that our company is valued at so much. He's asking it for half of that. Why should we agree? But I also knew we were running low on funds in the bank, right? So you have to think also about how the company will run. So balance, Anup said, look, in the larger scheme of things, giving up a few percent more, less will not matter, let's go with this. And then finally I had to agree because I also knew we needed the money. So that we did that.
part will be in the second session we have.
Yeah. So those kind of things happen, but then you have to evolve a way to take a decision fast. Because you can't let it simmer. The difference between, in a lot of ways, a founder-co-founder equation is like a relationship in life, right? Like you can say husband-wife, a couple, whatever the case as you may think it to be. But in life, you can ignore some aspect and you can say let it run on. Usko baad mein saltana. We'll think about it later. You can't do that in business for most things because if you do that, then the opportunity is gone. You take a decision, it might be a wrong decision, but then you should say, we'll do something and make it right, or we'll work something out.
So I think more than also taking decisions quickly. The other thing is, even if there are disagreements, we should behave like we all agree, right? I mean, the minute you keep that thing saying, "मैंने ये बोला था,"
PC वाले जो है पैसे तो देंगे नहीं, ये बुलाई के लड़ रहे हैं.
So I think both are the most important part. And lastly, I think confidence. हर चीज में confidence saying कि हमने decision ले लिया, सबने agree कर लिया, अभी हम करेंगे, right? I think that.
Let me draw a lesson from your story. Is that even if there are disagreements, somebody should be there on the driving seat, and the other co-founder or founders should given that space to that gentleman or the founder कि भाई अब तू ले जा, अब टॉस हर चीज में टॉस नहीं करेंगे, अभी जय बसंती तूने लेनी है ले जा, you decide.
पार्टी भी करेंगे.
So that surrender. So that surrender also should be there.
Exactly.
Right?
So in some ways, on a philosophical level, it's suppression of an ego, right? You say, okay, if you have a disagreement and sometimes, why did you do this, that? So I think to myself, ठीक है नादान है, माफ कर देते इसको. Yeah, something like that. You forgive.
It's very important to have one driver of the vehicle, and
Absolutely.
it should be
One driver,
decided
without
very
a doubt.
categorically by the co-founding team. If in case of disagreement, he will be the final authority.
Yeah. So then we also have a board. We have a very professional style of working.
Something is coming here. कुछ निकल के आ रहा है. So who's the authority here?
इसीलिए मैंने इंटरप्ट किया कि ऐसा जब co-founders हैं तो कोई ऐसा क्लियर मैंडेट नहीं होना चाहिए कि एक ही जना ड्राइविंग सीट पे हमेशा रहेगा.
This is another perspective. All right, let's hear from you. ऐसे कैसे होता है? आप डिसाइड करोगे कि
पुरानी
किस
कहावत
जर्नी में आप ड्राइवर हो, किस जर्नी में वो.
पुरानी ट्रेडिशनल कहावत है, कान फंसा के रेस जीती नहीं जाती.
काम फंसा के
रेस जीती नहीं जाती.
Good work.
So, when you are working as co-founders, you should have, as Anup rightly said, trust एक बहुत important factor है. तो I will summarize कि इसमें important एक अच्छे entrepreneur और co-founders के बीच की chemistry ये होती है कि एक तो decisions should be fast, quick, trust होना चाहिए, and over a period of time working में you understand कि किसकी expertise किसमें है. तो जैसे भाई अनिल ने कहा he is good at numbers. So if he is good at numbers and finance, तो आंख बंद करके finance के decisions इसके follow करने चाहिए. तो ये कहना कि सारे decisions एक ही के होने चाहिए, जो जिसमें अच्छा है, वो over a period of time success आती ही इसलिए है joint में जब एक दूसरे पे trust होता है और जिस एरिया में जो अच्छा है उसकी expertise को leverage करते हैं.
Clarity of roles.
Yeah. So, Sachin, if I may take a bit of a digression, right? But I want to bring a different perspective into this whole discussion of founders, co-founders. So we have enough evidence in Indian history, in Indian mythology as well. If I just change the scenario, let's go back in time and let's take the Mahabharata as an example, right? Now we all know as business people who have worked professionally, that for any company there has to be a vision, strategy, planning, execution, leadership, all of this has to be there. If I put the question to you, the audience here, between Krishna and Arjuna, right, who would you consider as the founder and who would you consider as a co-founder?
Open to the audience, is it?
Open to the audience, yeah.
Can we have somebody with the mic? Mic लेके जाओ. Anybody would like to add into this? This is turning interesting.
It has to be both. See, you cannot win Mahabharata just because of one person, Krishna, or one because of one Arjuna. अगर अर्जुना डर के भाग जाता और कृष्ण उसको उस वक्त गाइड नहीं करता तो युद्ध ही नहीं होता, और अगर कृष्ण उसका लेकर के नहीं चल रहा होता तो अर्जुन आगे लड़ता कैसे? So both were playing their different roles simultaneously together. That is how it works.
Absolutely correct. You're right. Both. What I want to say is here how see Krishna, if you consider him as the visionary, he already knew what the outcome of the war would be. So in his mind, he knew where the entire, if you call the Pandavas as an organization, he knew where they would be going. It was all, and that's the role of the visionary, right? Arjuna was the executioner. So those roles are very clear. So that's one example I wanted to highlight. And the other example would be more recent times and more which we can relate to is Chanakya and Chandragupta, right? Which one of these would you consider as the founder? Which one of these would you consider as the co-founder? Again, open to the audience.
So anybody?
Both the examples in which you have drawn, I think as a founder or co-founder, there's a relationship of a mentor there, because even for Chanakya, he was the mentor to Chandragupta, and Krishna also played a role of a mentor. He guided. He was not, maybe the 5 Pandavas were the co-founders of the war. So how they resolve the thing, that can be, but I think here the relationship is of a mentor and a disciple.
Agreed. And it can happen even in an organization. The CEO can be a mentor. In fact, in Marico, the CEO doesn't call himself CEO. He says he's the chief mentoring officer. Right? Harsh Mariwala says, I'm not the CEO of the company, I'm the chief mentoring officer of the company. But he's the founder of the company.
In this case, what happened, Chandragupta and Chanakya. Chanakya was very clear that he has to make India free of
40 से 50 साल की एज में जब पहुंचते हैं तब कहते हैं बर्बाद कर दिया इसने मेरी जिंदगी 20 साल मेरे इसने जिंदगी बर्बाद कर दिया सो द रियलाइजेशन
आपका एज क्या है
I am 39, Jay is 44. So he is in 40 to 50 ka bracket. So what I'm trying to say and what we realized from that workshop was as you grow together, ego starts coming in. And if as co-founders or if as people working together, and there will be different opportunities जहाँ पे बहुत opinions different होंगे. In our case, there are numerous examples जहाँ पे हमारे opinions different हैं. But at some point of time, just to agree to the other person, just to let them have their way. So we can give opinion in their fields, but we can't impose our decision. And that is, if we are able to manage our own egos, I think that makes the relationship successful.
So who's on the driver's seat?
So देखिए जब हम लोग, I mean as brothers and coming from the Indian society, we really respect our elders. So as a brother, when we are out of the professional room, जब हम room के बाहर हैं तब I will touch his feet, I will respect him, I will do everything. But when we are in that room for discussion as business partners, we are equal. Because again,
that's something which comes from our culture, I guess. Our culture, our Indian values. I really appreciate. I respect you.
And also it's important to have a very contrary opinion or to have a strong opinion, because as you get successful, आपके employees, आपके आसपास के लोग आपको feedback देने में डरने लगते हैं. But if you have a brother, if you have someone who has gone through the same journey and who can put forward a different opinion strongly, and strongly doesn't mean you have to fight. Strongly means you can have a different point of view. So that is a big merit. And I always say कि अगर आपका कोई भाई है, if you can find someone who can be a friend, whom you can work together with, you should not miss that opportunity.
I want to quickly add here. For about 15 years, the venture capital industry has told us that family businesses are bad, right? So, for example, in my first startup, me and my wife were co-founders. And then when we got VC, the first condition in that condition subsequent was she will resign, right? So, I mean, because there is this Western thinking that was
Husband and wife cannot fend together, cannot do it together.
Absolutely. But now we are entering the 2020s where I believe the family businesses will make a big comeback, right? So because that the look to go and get outside friends, families, people that share an existing relationship, as long as you're able to get that ego out of it, right? I mean, and you can be two different things, right? You can keep your relationships separate, right? I mean, business is different from your friendship. I think that maturity, if it comes in your relationships, it's going to be beautiful. India can really do really well. Family businesses can do really well.
I second you in this. I have a company where my wife is a co-founder. And I remember when we were raising funds, initial 2-3 rejections were squarely because of this reason. Yeah, you are a husband and wife team. Look, as a policy, we don't fund a husband-wife team. So, मतलब सिरे से खारिज ना नहीं मिलेगा फंड.
अच्छा हुआ, जल्दी से ना मिल गया ना, टाइम वेस्ट नहीं हुआ ना.
So then finally, I mean, initially it was very disheartening. Yeah, मतलब will we ever be able to raise funds? But thankfully there were some people who believed in the values that even husband-wife can go together and make success stories. Wonderful. So is it time we open for the questions from the audience? Are you guys ready with the questions, or should I go on and shoot the questions? Guys, are you ready? All right, yeah. So, Uday, एक mic तुम भी पकड़ ले. We will circulate. And please introduce quickly yourself in half a line and your question and who you are addressing to, who you want an answer from.
Hi, I'm Lata Rastogi. I run an IT company with my husband, so again a husband, wife, team. The question is open for all, and this is a little to the theme that we were already discussing. It is said that a man cannot have two masters. And I guess in all your careers, till your roles were defined, you would have come across a situation where maybe someone did try and take advantage of having multiple co-founders in the company. So how did you guys overcome that? How did you make sure that that disagreement that you have in between you, for whatever reason, is not taken advantage of by anyone else?
So who takes question? All right.
So first, I think as an entrepreneur, there is no master. You are the entrepreneur is the master, right? So let's start with that. And outside world is always, everybody is looking out for themselves. Let's start with that fundamental assumption that everybody is looking out for their best interests. Atmanirbhar, right? So now when it comes to that, people will take advantage of information asymmetries in your co-founding team, which could come if there is a lack of trust in the co-founding team. So bahar wale to obviously karte hain, right? As long as the co-founding team has clear antenna up saying ki kisko humko baat karna, right? And you can use it to your advantage also. You can say, somebody can make a commitment and say ki boss decision nahi hua, right? So having co-founders and amorphous co-founders can be used to your advantage also. It can be taken advantage of also. But if there is trust among the co-founding team, I think you can't be taken advantage of. So,
can I also respond?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So I'll give you a simple, practical way of how it has happened with me, and sort of trying to exploit or whatever the situation that you are talking about. So the rule I apply is, if I was in his position and if he was the one getting the information against me supposedly, how would I want him to behave? Right? How would I want him to do? And mostly that is what. That if I would do what I think would be in the best interest for the company, it automatically works. And sometimes all the information doesn't need to go to him. It just gets filtered. It's just
So I'll just add to this thing. जैसे मैं और मेरा भाई है, तो I understand that it's a very delicate balance. कई बार ऐसा होता है roles and responsibilities में it criss crosses. For example, employees में है. कई बार probably he can see that a particular employee is not performing, and या फिर he's trying to influence me, or it can happen vice versa also. And you don't know, कई बार वो employee की गलती नहीं होती है, उसको लगता है वो ठीक है, but it really feels that the person is manipulating the other person. इस situation में समझ नहीं आता क्या करना है, how to take the sides, and but one thing that we have realized over a period of time is, in that particular moment when you are being fed with that information, just do not react at that point of time. just sleep over it, give it some time, and as Ravi said, try to put yourself in that situation. And this happens very often. Employees do try to play you, but over a period of time, they've realized that even if I'll find an employee wrong, even if I'll find Jay wrong in a situation, I will still defend him at that particular moment. Probably later I can think about it, I can find a more opportune moment to tell him what it could have been. But at that point of time, I need to defend him, and that leads to building of trust and confidence. And that probably helps. That is what has worked for us.
Anything that you like about?
Yeah, absolutely. When it boils down to the same things, that you have to have trust, and without trust and co-working space, it is just not possible to complete the journey. So the first reaction, एक तो वैसे भी एक common strategy adopt करते हैं अपने business में कि whenever you do not have a direct answer, just pause, take a pause, have some time, breathe, and respond later. That strategy has always been working, and definitely जो आपका co-founding team है, जब first phase पे अगर trust नहीं होगा, तो कोई भी आके कुछ भी बोल दे, वो fact भी हो, तो भी आपको trust रखना है, because you have just heard one side of the story. Unless you discover the entire, because कोई भी एक piece of information complete नहीं होती जब तक वो totality में देखी जाए कि किस context में थी, क्यों थी, और सिर्फ एक for example एक accident होता है या एक गाड़ी लड़ती है और कोई human loss होता है. It could be an accident and it could be a murder. So unless you know the context of the entire story, reacting immediately based on the piece of information is not correct.
And
you need to have trust in the co-founder.
And the thing is, when there is doubt, co-founder is always right. Founder, when there is doubt, बाकी सब गलत है, हम लोग सही हैं, बस.
More questions?
Yes.
All right, Naman sir.
अभी एक वर्ड
बहुत जल्दी से Please on the mic, please.
ego. I just want to get more elaboration on the ego. As a co-founder, ego कैसे manage की जाए?
इसकी अपनी
Both ways.
Big question. Who are you addressing it to?
I am Pawan Dhawan, chartered accountant in Lucknow. Last 30 years.
Who are you asking this question to? Who you want an answer from?
Anyone can answer.
All right. All right.
I think a simple exercise is, instead of managing the other person's ego, start managing your own ego.
Can you elaborate on that?
I think it's a very simple thing. Generally, जब भी कोई discussion होता है, तो as a person, as Parimal Merchant said, कि 40 से 50 साल की एज में हमें लगता है सब बर्बाद कर दिया दूसरे ने. Just look back, because everyone will have their own set of problems, will have their own set of mistakes, will have their own set of lens of viewing a problem. If you can start looking inwards more, I think that is the solution. That is the only solution that I think I try to at least implement. Although उसके बाद भी हमारी बहुत लड़ाई होती है, but this sometimes works.
You see, ego develops.
Let's have somebody answer this question.
Ego develops with the conversation and the difference of opinion. At what point of time you realize that this difference of opinion is turning into the ego clash?
I'll give an answer to that. Hello, yeah. So I think if you're aligned on the vision of the company, right, you're saying, okay, the company, this is where the company needs to go. And is it more important that the company progresses towards that, which is like winning the war, or is it more important for me to win this battle? That's all I want to say. So you keep that in mind, and then you tell yourself, okay, this battle is not important, winning the war is more important.
All right.
Hi, good evening. This is Vimi Chavla, and I'm into textile business from last 22 years. And till date, I'm learning. Each and every day I learn something, being in business. So this question goes to my dear friend Ria and Vinodji, who are into same business. So what learning you want to share with your all audience, for the best entrepreneurship? So what learning in one word you can share?
Any specific?
Yes. Learning.
Can you be more specific in your
what
question?
you learn in your this whole experience of your business?
Very wide question.
Yeah.
Can you narrow it down, please?
Just one experience you want to share, like for a best entrepreneur.
All right.
Thank you for your question, Ayush. And as far as the learning goes, we are all here to learn from each other. And in fact, the level raised is because the learners are sitting this side and the entrepreneurs are on the other side. So we are all get together here to learn from each other. As far as the textile trade goes, yes, we share the same trade. And in the context of our country's economy, I think MSME contributes significantly, and fashion being the driver for the same. Indian ethnic business today is measured as the largest business model in the apparel sector. So learning which we can have from each other is, in fashion it is dynamic and there is no fixed roadmap. Every day it's a new learning. So whatever you've done in recent past, you draw a learning from it, you improve on it and move forward.
I want to summarize with, this is a line that I've learned. So as an entrepreneur, right, when you are planning, contemplating, you know nothing. You behave like you know nothing. But when you're acting, talking, doing deals, you know everything. Right? So when you are planning, when you're contemplating, you know nothing. When you're talking, discussing, you know nothing with your co-founders. But when you are in business, sab kuch pata hai. You're out there to win the deal, right? I mean, you are like, so winning, knowing nothing, knowing everything is a dual role you keep playing.
Nikhil Uddan, can you pass on a mic to Chetan this side? Yeah, please. Just run fast and hand it over to the gentleman in green.
Thank you, Sachin. Thanks, Sachin. My question is to the whole dais itself. We discussed about who prevails over the other co-founder in decision making. But how you people handle when some accident happens? If suppose a decision has been taken and that is a blunder, and you know that the person who was driving has taken a wrong decision. So how you handle that condition? But my second part of the question is, all of you agree that trust is very important. So what measures you take or how you build up trust when you feel that the team is getting low on trust? What specific steps you take to build up or boost up trust in your organization or in your with your co-founders?
So who will take this?
I'll answer a part of it. The first part of Chetan's question was that if an accident happens, how do you address it? And if you see the impact has been, then किसके सर पे टिकरा फोड़ना है? Precisely यही आपका question है. The answer goes that first thing is, as co-founders, जो भी होगा वो हमने किया, किसी एक ने नहीं किया. तो eventuality जो भी हो, there are two parts of it. Externally कैसे आप पोजीशन करोगे, internally आप क्या corrections करोगे. Externally आप पोजीशन करोगे कि whatever has happened was unavoidable and यही एक रूट था. अगर हुआ है तो ठीक है, we take responsibility of it and जो भी corrective measures लेने हैं वो लिए जाते हैं jointly. Internally एक बात अपनी टीम में मैं वैसे भी कहता आया हूँ और ये एप्लीकेबल भी है कि ट्रस्ट के बिना बिजनेस नहीं हो सकता, बट ट्रस्ट कभी भी आंख बंद करके अपने आप पे भी नहीं करना चाहिए. यू हैव टू हैव ट्रस्ट आंखें खोल के. व्हेन यू से आंखें खोल के, इट अनरोल्स कि यू हैव टू सी कि आदमी बोल क्या रहा है और कर क्या रहा है. यू हैव टू अलाइन the thought process with the actions. If the actions are the same and in sync with what the person is saying, then everything is right. Because the outcome of it may not be 100%, does not matter. But till the time the actions are on the same line of what the person has been visualizing or orating or projecting, till that time it is absolutely right.
Anything you want to add? You want to add something? Either.
As विनोद भाई कह रहे थे कि एक्शंस एंड स्पीच में, तो वी कॉल इट ऑडियो और वीडियो मैच करना चाहिए. तो आदमी जो बोल रहा है उसका वीडियो और ऑडियो मैच अगर नहीं हो रहा है तो दैट मीन्स देयर इज समथिंग रॉन्ग. Just to add to what he said, I think when something goes wrong, absolutely externally you have to put a brave face and you have to own it up together. Internally you can deliberate about it, why it went wrong, how it can be avoided in future. But the most important thing is that when you're designing any solution, whenever you are entering anything, any kind of discussions, disagreements are welcome at that point of time. But once the decision has been made, it is a joint responsibility of the organization, of the co-founders, of everyone involved. You just can't go back and question that why this happened and why didn't we talk about it before. So I think that is something which is very important. Once it happens, then it's a joint accountability.
Any more questions here?
Your question in the back.
All right. That lady in black. You can stand, quickly introduce and ask your question.
Hi, I'm a grade 12 student, myself Shrishti. I'm building a level blockchain called as Block Magics. And it's an open house question. My question is that what are your suggestions when anyone is looking for a right co-founder, because not everyone gets a friend, right? So what are your suggestions and what are the pitfalls we should actually avoid?
Are you wanting this question to any specific speaker here or it's
No,
open?
it's an open house.
All right, and I think Anup has.
So you're in grade 12, you're building a level 1 blockchain. So I feel you should find co-founder who knows what a level 1 blockchain is, right? So, and that cuts down the target audience to, let's say, 20,000 people in India right now, right? So uske andar you need to now go and network with people, right? And there are many networking events that you can go to for blockchain and so on. But you know, when will you know that you need the right, you meet the right co-founder? When you know why you need a co-founder, right? I mean, when you know कि business क्या है, क्या चाहिए तुमको, क्या gaps है. So yeah, I mean, it's a journey. I mean, it's not as if suddenly a co-founder will turn up. So yeah, it's and don't make finding a co-founder a mission. That's never a mission. Your journey is the mission for you, right? I mean, the rest I think will come together as you go down that journey, right?
I think what you should look for is complementary skills. If you, as you're running the business and it's growing, and you feel there are areas which can be better addressed, or which are not, rolling out the way you would want them to roll out, then obviously you look for someone with complementary skills. And I said this earlier, it's like a partnership, a marriage. But one good thing about business is, here, as a man and a woman, you're not looking for looks, right? So you can be very objective in your decision, and you can look for someone who brings those complementary skills to the table.
All right, you want me to add?
I have never got an opportunity to look for a co-founder or anyone. But I think I can just say that it's what it sounds like. It's more like finding luck. You never know when it happens, and when it happens, you know this is the right person. So that's what. मुझे ढूंढना नहीं पड़ा ना इसलिए.
One follow-up question है. तो क्या अपनी टीम में कोई ऐसा लगता है कि यार this guy, just pull him out, make him a co-founder, ऐसा कुछ कभी moment आया क्या?
So I think we are moving towards a situation जहाँ पे हमारा personal control कम होता जाता है, and you need to find more and more people who can be made accountable. So definitely that situation is coming, and you will find that either they will start getting the status of co-founders, or they will start getting the opportunity to create far more new businesses.
Like an ESOP.
Like an ESOP, or they're given a responsibility to, let's say, start a dairy division in, let's say, West Bengal or Orissa, things like that. So co-founder from that perspective and giving larger set of responsibilities is what I think will happen in our organizations.
That's awesome because family businesses generally are too, in that mode के tight control मेरा है ये. So that's very heartening to know.
Thank you.
More questions? There's a gentleman in black t-shirt there. All right, I will come to you. We have another 10 minutes, don't worry.
Good evening everyone. My name is
Louder,
Gaurav.
please.
I am running a business, Crafters Web Solutions, IT company in Lucknow.
Repeat because आवाज साफ नहीं आ रही.
Yeah, my name is Gaurav. I am running an IT company in Lucknow. It's Crafters Web Solutions. We are into AR and e-commerce. So my question is with all the panelists is that how you manage the financials among yourselves? Like you are friends, there is a brothers there, there is a husband, wife, there are a couple. So how do you manage the financials? Just want to know.
Financials.
Yes.
Is the fruit is in जो profit आया उसकी बात कर रहे हो?
Yes. Means is there any salary you give to?
ये तो मैं.
So you want to say that how do you distribute the amount that comes?
Yeah. How you can.
So I think in our case it is a very different situation because we have multiple businesses and so we have a certain set of guidelines where a certain part of the money that we earn comes back to the family fund and rest of the money is constantly reinvested in the business. So, but yet again, I think distribution of, so in businesses I've seen generally the fight is not about the money. Generally it is not about the money. It is about power, it is about empathy, it is about listening to the other person's opinion, it is about giving them respect. So I don't think money is something that we generally fight on. We can fight on other issues, but money, luckily in our case, it is one of the last issues that we have fought on.
You want to add something to that?
So the thumb rule is company का पैसा और तुम्हारा पैसा separate, right? I mean that I think is in India थोड़ा सिखाना पड़ता है. I mean even to startup founders, as we have come to know recently, venture capitalists have been on the other side of the. So company का पैसा and हमारा personal पैसा अलग. And a general ethic when you're spending company money, you're spending it like your money, right? I mean if you're the same ethic that you apply. And keep it transparent, keep it, if you're taking a big decision financially, keep all the stakeholders involved. It's all about it's about communication and information management, right? And in our company, I've kept myself away from the money. मेरे को पैसा छूना नहीं है because as you know, money corrupts. So he's the
Yeah, I think that's. Was your question more about the cap table?
Yeah, actually, I just want to please you guys give yourself a salary or something. If a founder is there, how to manage that?
Repeat that question for the benefit of others.
Yeah, actually, I'm just asking. Suppose you guys are experienced enough, but if I'm starting a business, I'm in my 20-25 years. I got a co-founder, so I need to tell him what financial I want to give him. So he's also starting his career.
Sure. What very very pertinent point actually.
Sure.
When the founders are not brothers, इसको बात तो पापा ही बता देते हैं.
So even as an individual person, a founder, if the company can pay a salary, right? I mean there are two possibilities. Company can pay a salary, can't pay a salary. I would want to get paid a salary, right? Because for the time I'm putting in, and if possible, I would want to be paid cash every month. The same I would make elsewhere if I was not working, right? That shows a healthy business. It's only theory I know, but at least you start with that mind frame, saying company में पैसा है, तो पहले मेरे को free में तो काम नहीं करना है. Free में काम करोगे, then that objectivity goes away. If there is money in the company, of course. And then at least try to make as much as you would make in a job somewhere else, cash. Rest of it is equity, and that I think is it creates some healthiness in the company, health in the company as well. That you're not under accounting for your time in the company. There's a lot to learn from the Infosys story, the way the co-founders and the way the company was built and so on. There's a lot to learn from the Infosys story on corporate governance and how to manage everybody managing the money part of the equation as well. There are enough case studies around it. Right?
All right, wonderful. So
I'll just add to this thing. What we do in our companies is what I can share. That we are paid as a professional. I mean, though we are the owners, but the way you would treat a professional, the company pays us salary, the company gives us increment, the company gives us any kind of ESOPs or any kind of opportunities that are given to other employees, considering us as a professional. And I think that has worked really well, because then you start valuing your own time. You don't feel that if you're working somewhere else, you could have made that kind of money. So that is what we do.
that's a huge lesson actually for the family-run businesses here. Thanks for coming up with this.
Thank you.
More questions? Just a moment. We have a question from the gentleman here.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Anil Raghuvanshi. Just the question is to an open question to the audience. First of all, I think Sachin has very well taken care of many queries here, being an entrepreneur. I was just, when I came in this hall, I was just reading on the pre-text that 90% of fallouts are there. In entrepreneurship, there are 90% fallouts. So my question to this side actually, not from Karnataka, from UP side. What are those three basic reasons, or what are the major reasons of these fallouts? Especially Sachin, I think, can address this question. Why do
I think this answer would come in the second phase of the question, because the VCs and investors are the ones who actually, in their lifetime, they see hundreds of businesses. So if you can hold on this question, because most of us would have invested in our company and at best in one or two more companies. Let's hold this question to the next round.
To get a link from the lead from what question was asked, those from the back.
So quickly.
Challenges. What are currently we have internal challenges, external challenges. Which format is better? Whether Anu's format of having two brothers or husband wife or two friends? Which
सभी तो ये वैरायटी है कि आप डिसाइड करो. We can't decide for anybody else. All right. Question from Tanushree there.
Yeah, hi, good evening everyone. I am Tanushree and I run a law firm. I do not have a co-founder, but my question is, in case you have a partner and you are planning to tie up with a partner or somebody who is in another city, and what experience is that they withhold information. You know, because once you are sitting in a same office, withholding of information is not possible. But what happens that a person consistently, even though you have management information systems in place, so how do you trust a co-founder who in past has been withholding important information, and how does that...
I think I'll give this question to Anup and Ravi. They are living in different, they lived in different cities before they started. So go ahead.
It's like a long distance relationship that's not going to work, right? I think you should just dump it and move on. That's my short. If information is being withheld and it is harming the interests of your company, it's a clear red flag. No, cut the cord before it harms you further.
And what about if they have good networks and...
Doesn't matter. That the network, all of that will only end up harming you, because that basic confidence, trust, sharing of information is not there, right?
Thank you.
I completely agree.
Anything you want to add?
No, nothing. I just want to say that if the intent of the person is questionable, then irrespective of the networks or anything, you will always have that doubt whether they are going to contribute to the business or not. So as Ravi said, I mean, in our case, it would be a clear no.
We have last 6 minutes before we wind up this session. All right, the gentleman here in grey blazer. Right.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Dr. Heather, from a health tech startup institute.
Louder, please. Closer to your mic.
Yeah. Myself, Dr. Heather, from a health tech startup institute, and I have a question for Sachin Sahni sir. Sir, अभी आपने बोला कि co-founder अगर husband and wife होते हैं तो काफ़ी प्रॉब्लम फेस करनी पड़ती है, और अगर ये co-founders जो हैं husband wife नहीं हैं और बाद में शादी कर लेते हैं तब फिर क्या? और ये स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम में जो एक ये टैबू है कि हम जब किसी इन्वेस्टर्स के पास जाते हैं फंड रेज के, तो वहाँ पे यह पता चलता है कि हस्बैंड वाइफ, जबकि मैं समझता हूँ कि सबसे ज़्यादा मजबूत को फाउंडर्स की जोड़ी अगर हो सकती है तो हस्बैंड वाइफ की, क्योंकि वो 24/7 साथ में काम
My friend, I agree with you 100%. Coming from a husband-wife jodi here myself, and we can see another success. But let me tell you, that's no more a problem, because I just said that initially we did face a roadblock, that we were turned down and we were not funded because of that reason. I think but sometime in last 2-3 years we getting very positive feedbacks from the, because there are success stories out there and more will be answered in the next panel. We have two very experienced investors here who've been investing since very long. I think they are in a better position to tell you whether or not a co-founding team which gets married later on, are there any clauses that we'll fund you only if you don't bloody well get married? Because I see you behaving like cupids on social media or something. Let me tell you, the investors when they actually invest, they actually go onto your social media and check out if you have camaraderie or not. And if you have too much of camaraderie, they might have some reservation. I don't know, they'll answer. So, but any other question?
Thank you. So, just one addition to this part. I think, speaking from the startup side, a lot of culture in the VCs and the startups has been inherited from the West. And in West, quite contrary to what in India is, a husband-wife relationship is very unstable. You never know that they are partners together. After some time, they don't stay together. They are very bitter with each other. And sadly, a lot of culture in our country is still, for the VCs especially. And just to give you an example, a VC will always tell you your valuation in dollars. I don't know, for some reason. They will say you are valued at $1 million, $2 million. They will never say you are valued at 20 crore rupees. So this is because we have inherited that culture. But now, over the past 2-3 years, as we have seen, more and more Indian companies getting successful, more and more situations which are more contextual to India getting successful, whether it is a husband-wife, whether it is brothers, whether it is friends. I think VCs have started taking note of that, and things which were taboo before have started changing a little bit. That is what my.
Alright, so we already getting questions for the panel too. Wonderful. So I think काफी churning हो रही है. I'll add to this here. Look, in US, the divorce rate, the first time married का जो divorce rate है, वो 64% है. So every time a never married couple get married, 64% they divorce. Second time marriages are 78%. India में, let me tell you, it's less than 0.1% divorce rate in India. मतलब ये cities को छोड़ दो, overall weightage जो है, India में divorce rate is less than 0.1%. So West has to learn from us. So, and the VCs have started learning. So good sign is, get married. Good money. Enjoy. You'll get funded. More questions before we end up this panel? Another minute to go. Last question now. All right, Pranav there. They are a husband-wife team. I don't know what is coming up.
Hi, my name is Pranav, and so I'm on the verge of starting a new startup, and I've been looking for a co-founder for the past few months, but unfortunately, family circle, social circle, I haven't been able to find the right person. So could you suggest some ways in which I can look for co-founders out of my social network?
What sector is your company startup idea?
So I'm planning to make wine in Lucknow.
Wine. I'll be your co-founder.
So you want to make wine and you know how to make wine, or you want that?
No, I do. I've been doing that for the past 1.5-2 years now.
What kind of?
It's actually mead. It's mined mead from honey.
So. Oh, mead. Okay. So and you will be the maker, and you want somebody to take care of the business.
So I'm looking for someone who can either contribute as a meat maker with me, or look at the business part of it. I'm open to.
Where is your heart? Your heart is in the meat making, or is your heart in the money making?
Right now, it's in the both. It's divided both ways. Like, I enjoy making it, and I like the business and the branding part of it.
What do you enjoy more?
Right now, I'm enjoying both parts because I'm doing everything on my own. So.
Okay, so you need to now decide who are you looking for. You want to visualize your life, right? You want to be talking about meat, going to meat conferences, becoming the best meat maker in the world. Visualize your future and then what you are not visualizing in your future is your co-founder's future, right? So once you zone in on that, then go ahead and start networking. And I would think if it is me, you need to come to Bangalore, maybe. Right?
Planning till the next month.
You need to come to Bangalore, set up a few, go to a few mixers.
And call me. इधर तो वीरू पीता जा रहा है यार, कब पीता है?
आपका इतना इंटरेस्टिंग बिजनेस है कि आप किसी कॉन्फ्रेंस में खड़े होकर बोलो को फाउंडर चाहिए, मिल जाएगा।
अभी कोई इंटरेस्टेड है?
I am having a second thought. We'll talk about it later on.
Thank you.
पीछे, इसके पीछे. After you. All right. It's time we wind up this session unless somebody has a burning question out there. One last. All right.
Hello everyone, I'm Sandhya and I'm a part of a printing press, printing and packaging company. I and my husband run that. We are a great team, we have no issue with that. Issue is how to grow a B2B business in service sector, which is I'm facing challenge for the last 2 years. My question is slightly
No,
different.
this is actually very different from the current topic of discussion.
If anybody can add
We will take offline. We'll go for tea after this.
Sure.
IT, you will have ample time to corner one of them and I know they'll be hounded after this.
Thank you, thank you.
We're not sharing your numbers. Email me there. All right, so master of the ceremony, is it time? Yes. Or can we take another question? Because there are a few.
I think we'll proceed to the second session.
All right, second session. Master of ceremony decides. All right, over to you, Nilakshi. We are done.
Thank you so much, all our speakers and our moderator, and I think our audience was so excited, we literally had to stop there and be like, ab aur question nahi le sakte hain. And it was a really fruitful insights and what we got to know. Being a new entrepreneur myself, मैं तो नहीं सोच रही थी co-founding के बारे में, but I think इस session के बारे में I'll think about it. It was really nice knowing all of this. So thanks a lot for your time and all the insights that we got. I would now like to invite Mr. Shiven Mohan. So in these uncertain times where we do not know where to invest and investing in a business looks like a better idea, and Canada is a very lucrative market right now, and if you do not know how to invest in Canada and whom to trust, we have Mr. Shiven Mohan, our charter member and also the owner of BizCan, who will take you through this opportunity.
Thank you, Meenakshi, and thank you to all the panelists. It's really been enlightening. I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years, but it was a pleasure listening to you. Gaurav, maybe have the video, please. We're just playing a short video. basic reason why we founded BizCam was that the failure rate of new businesses in Canada is amazing, 90-92%. And the other amazing fact about Canada is the retirement age is 65. So at 65, even businessmen start to draw pension. In India, if you're not a government employee, no pension for you. In Canada, medical is free, and at 65, you can opt to stop working and sell off your business. So in the next 5 years, 40% of small businesses are up for sale. This is a huge investment opportunity, and you don't need to be a Tata, Birla or an Ambani to buy a company in Canada. The price tag starts from something like 4 CR. Of course, there's no cap. You can go as high as you want. But a middle class and upper middle class person can own a business in Canada. So, in case you need to connect, I am the person. I'm in India for the next 15 days. You can go ahead. My email is there.
He is also a charter member of TiE Vancouver. So he shuttles between Vancouver and Lucknow. And we have an opportunity if you want to buy a business in Canada.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shaded Mohan, for letting us know about this opportunity. And it was really nice for our speakers to take our time for us, and we would like to thank them. And for this, I would like to invite Ms. Simran Sahani, our charter member of TiE, Mr. Abhishek Tiwari, who is leading Start in UP team, Mr. Kushal Bhargav, who is the founder member of our TiE Lucknow. If you all could please come on the stage. I would like to call Kushal and Abhishek ji up again, and we would like to felicitate Anuj. Thank you, Anuj, for your valuable insights. We really enjoyed it. Masala tha aapki baaton mein. Oh, photo.
We all. Abhishek, you please do the honors, please. Thank you so much. And Anuj, wait, something is coming. Brace for this.
Yeah.
Okay. You have your photograph out there on the diary.
Yes. So we have a charter to present to this gifting. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm sure you'll keep it for posterity.
And for kids, you keep coming. Don't worry, I will not forget it.
This will take it.
So thank you, couple को represent करने के लिए. So thank you, Vinod Bhai and Riya. Riya is my darling friend, and इनका हम जानते हैं सालों से. But it was really wonderful to know your journey, your arguments, and who prevails. And thank you for everything. Yeah.
Abhishek Bhai, please, if you can do the honors.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. We will take care of yours. Wait. ये पहलवान है हमारे साथ.
So now we'll let it call Mr. Anup Pai and Mr. Ravi Gandhipur. Can I call Mr. Manish also to felicitate them? राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज, बहुत सारे इंसाइट, बहुत सारी चीज़ें सीखने को मिली हमें इनसे।
Thank you, Jay and Veeru, for coming over all the way from Bangalore and enlightening us. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. So Start in UP is always helping us in TiE Lucknow. They keep sponsoring, they keep trusting us in organizing events. Thank you for everything that you keep doing for us.
To honor our moderator, Mr. Sachin Sahani. It was great having you with this session and the questions you asked us speakers and the fruitful information that we got out of this.
Thank you, Nilakshi. Thanks. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Quick. Thank you.
Thank you. Photo मारो जा.